Deep in the Amazon rainforest in 2013, a scientist named Troy Alexander found something that should not exist. Pressed into a leaf no bigger than a fingernail was a perfect white tower, a cylindrical spire standing upright, surrounded by a neat circular fence made entirely of silk. It looked like a tiny castle, or a miniature satellite dish, or something built by a species that had never been seen before. Troy photographed it, posted it online, and asked one simple question: what on earth made this? Scientists from around the world stared at the image, and not one of them had an answer. What you are about to discover is one of the most bizarre, unsolved mysteries in modern biology. A creature so secretive, so architecturally gifted that it built a fortress before it even had a name, and we still don't fully understand why. The Amazon is not a place that runs out of surprises. Every year, scientists identify thousands of new species in its depths: insects, fungi, plants, fish that have never had a human name. But what Troy Alexander found at the Tambopata Research Center in Peru was different. It wasn't a new creature, it was evidence of a new creature, a calling card left behind in silk. The structure measured roughly 2 centimeters across, about the width of your thumbnail. The central tower stood like a turret, rising from the middle of a flat, circular platform. Around the outer edge of the platform ran a perfectly constructed picket fence, dozens of tiny posts connected by silk threads, evenly spaced, geometrically precise. Nature builds many things, but nature almost never builds fences. In the next 60 seconds, you will understand exactly why this structure stopped the scientific world in its tracks. Troy Alexander was not a spider specialist. He was a graduate researcher, but he knew enough to know that nothing in any textbook looked like this. He posted the photograph to Reddit and to scientific forums. Within days, it had been seen by entomologists, arachnologists, and biologists across North America, Europe, and Asia. The leading theories ranged from a type of moth cocoon to a fungal growth to a parasitic wasp structure, but none of them fit. The structure had been named informally online Silkhenge, after the famous prehistoric stone circle in England, Stonehenge, because the similarity in design was impossible to ignore. A circular arrangement of upright posts built around a central structure for reasons no one could explain. Weeks passed, more Silkhenge structures were found nearby. They were always fresh. Someone or something was building them regularly in the same area, always at night. Then came the morning that changed everything. Researchers set up a watch, waiting beside the structures in the dark, and at last, in the gray light of dawn, they witnessed it. From the top of the central tower, from a tiny hole no larger than a pinhead, something moved. A microscopic spider, barely visible to the naked eye, pushed through the opening and stepped into the world for the very first time. The tower was not a monument. The tower was a nursery. Inside that central spire sat a single egg, perfectly protected, cradled at the center of an architectural fortress that had been built entirely by its mother before she vanished. A mother spider had spent hours, possibly days, engineering a silk structure of extraordinary complexity, placed her single egg inside it, and left. And no human being had ever seen this spider alive before that moment. What happens next in this story will make you question everything you think you know about intelligence in the animal kingdom. Scientists confirmed the spider belonged to a completely new, previously undescribed species, likely in the genus Tetragnatha or a relative, but to this day it has never been formally named or fully classified. Spiders do build egg sacs, that much is well known, But egg sacs are simple, tight silk pouches. They are not fences. They are not towers. They are not geometrically spaced architectural structures that took hours to construct. The leading hypothesis is that the fence acts as a physical barrier against predators, ants, parasitic wasps, or other spiders that might attack the egg. The spacing of the fence posts may be precisely calibrated to block insects of a certain size, while allowing air circulation to prevent fungal growth on the egg. In other words, this tiny spider, with a brain smaller than a grain of sand, appears to have engineered a ventilated, predator-proof nursery using nothing but instinct and silk. But here is what haunts biologists most. Every Silkhenge structure ever found has contained only one egg. Not 2, not 20, 1. This spider invests everything, enormous time, enormous energy, enormous silk, in protecting a single life. As of today, only a handful of these structures have ever been observed being built. The adult spider has never been formally photographed in the wild for a scientific paper. We know it exists, we know what it builds, we know it cares deeply, instinctively, architecturally about its single offspring. But we do not know its name. We do not know where it hides when it is not building. We do not know how it learned or evolved to build something that looks unmistakably like a tiny human construction. Think about that. Somewhere in the Amazon right now, in darkness you will never see, a spider the size of a sesame seed is measuring silk, spacing posts, engineering a fence that would satisfy an architect, all to protect a single invisible egg. And it has been doing this perfectly for millions of years, before any human being ever drew a blueprint. The Amazon does not run out of mysteries, it just hides them very, very small. Comment below, if this spider were ever formally named, what would you call it?